Um, so I'm actually going to talk about this one before you watch what I've done, and then I'm going to put a little bit at the end too. So one of the things that's really a big focus of what I plan on doing, and what's really kind of motivating me to do this, is that my living condition is kind of crazy, and I showed you that in the last video. So what I'm hoping that you'll see here is what I can do with the time that I spent. There's roughly hourly updates with the videos. Each one's probably usually about 30 seconds to a minute long, kind of strung together, as you can see, as things move through. And hopefully, as I learn more about the way YouTube works and the way as I learn more about iMovie and stuff, I can start adding more to those. There's a couple things I want to address, though, before I go into it. So this, and you'll notice, my room is in fairly good shape. Ignore the desk. That has a place to go. And I talked about that later on. But the desk actually has a new home, which is really awesome, because it's a nice desk, but it just doesn't fit in my room. So really, what I have here in this video is the cleaning process. There's actually two other projects I'm working on at the same time. There's building an exercise space, which will be where that desk is. So hopefully I get that set up soon. And there's also the musical side of things. And you'll notice that I try to keep these focused on just like one particular project, even if there's a couple going on at a time. And that's so that no one loses interest in the thing. I had some people ask me questions already, which is actually kind of cool that, like, one video in, I've already had people give me suggestions or ask other questions. I'll address those eventually. My friend Dave, who's been a real supportive of me kind of getting this thing built up and started, gave me a whole bunch of questions and things to address and things to kind of talk about as time goes on. So, I'll get to those, but I don't want to make my first couple of videos completely fatuous. I want to show you what I'm doing with my life to make my life better, and I'm going to talk eventually at the end of this week, once you see the other two things that I'm working on, kind of talk about how those are going to make my life better and how I can start moving into a bigger project. So it's day 2, and my plan had been to set up exercise equipment, put some exercise stuff, and one of the things I've learned actually in my life is that when you exercise, there's practical benefits to actually having a life that involves you working. Obviously, the people back in the farms way back in the day didn't work out every day. They simply got up and worked. I mentioned this because instead of setting up my exercise equipment, this is how I'm getting in shape today. That is how much snow we got last night. It is freaking cold out there. So I'm going to be out there for quite a while. That's about it. I'll see y'all later. Alright. Hold on. So, I have decided that starting the exercise thing isn't going to work as long as I don't have a spot to set up an exercise equipment. So I'm going to work on my room first. Getting my room organized is going to be a big deal. I need to get rid of that desk. Hold on a second. So the desk, which is something that I have to get rid of that. I mean, I don't use it. It takes up a lot of space. I found a taker for it, which is really good, so it'll be gone. And I have some things on there I have to get rid of. I have my room. Now, the big deal for me isn't so much as cleaning my room. I do it all the time. It's going to be keeping it clean. Now, the nice thing about the not playing video games anymore is that I'll have the time to keep it clean. I always had the time. I think I have to get my room, but instead I'm going to go off in the other room and play video games, which is exactly what I've done forever and ever and ever. So hopefully, when I have 4 hours to spare every single Saturday, I'll spend at least an hour of that reorganizing, tidying up my room, keeping it clean. A project is always something to do. So that's going to be a thing. I'll give you step-by-step updates as I go through it. You can take a look at how I've done everything. My first job is to get the chair out of the room, which you don't see, and then we'll see how this rest of the week goes. Alright, so it's been an hour of cleaning, actually. It's been a lot longer than that because I was out shoveling, which I showed you at the beginning. It was ridiculous out there. But it's been about an hour of cleaning. And I found that there's a lot of stuff that I didn't need that I've been kind of holding on to forever. I don't think quite like a hoarder, but I had, I had mail from 3 years ago that was absolutely positively not anything I would ever need, but, there it was. So I'm going to show everyone where I am and let you know what I've been doing, and I'm going to let you know how I can... first things first, my big problem is always laundry. Most of the mess that you saw before was laundry. So really, this is all the laundry that was tucked on my floor in these 3 things. Now, there was the dirty laundry. You'll notice there's not actually a lot of it. Most of it was McLean laundry that I just never took care of. A lot of these things are folded shirts. That'll be part of my daily kind of routine of staying clean, like the hour a day I spend working towards keeping my life organized and healthy. Will be ironing shirts as need be, taking care of my laundry. Something that over here we have the desk. You'll notice it's a lot cleaner. a lot of this stuff that was up there are those letters. Like, you saw that stack. Anyone who wants to go back and look at the old video or the stuff at the beginning of today, if I actually happen to look at it, you'll see that mostly what's left there is Transformers. But most of the trash that was there was stuff that was absolutely functionless. I had finished up, and again, my large, finally, like, primary goal is to get my bed moved to a different part of my room so that I have time or a place to set up an exercise thing. And that'll be my next thing that we cover is my getting into shape. I've been told by my friend that I could be Jason Statham kind of shaped if I actually worked out. I don't see that happening, but, you know, I'm going to go crazy. And if I can be like Jason Statham, then darn it, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to move on. And one other thing that's worth noting. This is a can of Campbell's Cream of Celery. It was in my room, underneath my clothes. My room is in a kitchen. I don't like cream of celery. I literally have no idea where it came from. But there was frozen solid in the corner of my room with a little crack in it underneath all of my laundry. So again, like, I'm not saying like I was ever filthy. Like, I don't have dirt. But I'm disorganized, and that's definitely something that can really show up in life when you're finding cans of soup under your laundry. All right, now one of the things that's important whenever I'm doing any of these kind of things, and I think that's a lesson for a lot of people to learn, is to get to that point where you feel like everything's mostly done, you can kind of take a break, which is where I am. I've just come home from work, and I really only have a little bit left to do. Now, one of the big things I have to do with my bed. Now, the problem with my bed is that I always store stuff on it. But then, when it's time to actually go to bed, instead of taking care of it, I throw it on the floor. It's what happens every time I try to clean. This is an example of how a project can get out of hand. This can be a quick one, but you'll notice that there's still all kinds of stuff lying around. I've just rearranged everything. Those of you who have been paying attention, my heater, which is over here, and my door, which is over here, are now in a different location in regards to the rest of my bed. Now, this is where I intentionally, or eventually will have my music area set up, or I see I'm gesturing with my hands, but no one can see it. This is where my music area is going to be set up, and where my exercise area is going to be set up. There's still a lot more work to do. It's been another hour since the last time I was in here, so you'll find sometimes things are a little Alright, now just as the last shot, this is about an hour work after the last minute of the video. It's been broken up over the course of the day. It's Sunday, and I have other responsibilities and everything. But you can see that while my bookshelf is a mess, my bookshelf is always a mess, even at home, so all of my books are there. There's nothing that shouldn't be where it is. Charmander, but that's only because I moved him off my bed this morning. And everything else is organized and taken care of. And I actually have a living space that's going to be conducive towards actually working. So this is the finished product of what my room's going to be like. Okay, so that's how my room has been set up and how I've kind of gone through this process. Now, the other part of this that's really worth noting, and why this is part of the video, because I've always been able to kind of get to the point that I showed you before, where I always have a couple things left over and I just kind of leave them. And usually I leave it to do something that's a lot more fun. Now I've left it to do something more productive, which is to finish the project, which is something that like I said, I've never done. There's always been like that one or two things that had no spot to go that I was like, well, you know, they're not taking up that much space, and I leave them there. But not creating an artificial thing to fight for. In this case, in my life, it's, which I'll say 1,000 times, it's video games. I don't have video games to battle for. You know, there's not this, oh, I spent all day long cleaning, and now I'm going to have to go and play video games to make up for that lost time. I don't have that. There's always going to be extra time in my day, which means that I'm never going to feel bad about failing to use my time for whatever constructive purpose that I want to do. Hopefully I always have half an hour of free time every day. I had a little bit of free time today. So the other step with this is just maintenance. And I'll probably talk about the maintenance in the course of all my updates, just to let you know that, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking even 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes a day, and I can keep my room neat and organized, and I can stay healthy and clean. So that's really my first major project, and I feel like I've accomplished something in probably about 4 hours of work yesterday. That was a point that I never got to before, which is to actually completely finish it and actually find someone to get rid of this desk, which has been sitting in my room for, I don't know, probably almost a year without actually being used for anything other than just sticking stuff on that I also had no place to put and had no need for. So that's it. After I do the next two, which are going to be the music one, which is about my battles with Yezu, Joy of Man's Desiring, and then the exercise plan one, which will be horrendously embarrassing for the first couple times I do it. because I'm this and not, Jason Statham. So anyway, that's it. Thank everybody who's watching these, and hopefully they actually become something useful. I'm looking at probably about 3 updates a week, unless we have other projects or some kind of longer term thing. But after I finish these first 3, which are about getting my own life on track, I will definitely start taking suggestions and doing projects with other people, maybe learning to dance or learning to boat or building a shed or any kind of thing that I can record and show that I'm learning a skill and helping someone else hone that skill. And I really think that this could be a big thing. So keep in mind any projects that you want to work on or that you want to learn, anything that you've been interested in doing, and we'll see if I can't find a way to make that something a lot of fun with this. So that's about it. Thank everybody again, and hopefully this wasn't too much rambling about nothing. And the next one you're going to see is going to be me horrendously embarrassing myself sitting up in exercise place. So.